Okay, welcome back to this segment of the building of the NexStar airplane. In this segment we're going to inspect the airplane, both the covering, the CA hinges, and inspect the gluing inside the fuselage. So first we'll look at the covering. First thing you do is you make sure you got your tools ready. I've got some thin CA and debonder. This is thin CA from Mercury Adhesive. I like Mercury Adhesive thin CA because the cap has a metal pin in it that keeps the hole open inside. So I like Mercury CA for that. And the Dynamite brand of CA from Horizon Hobby has the same metal pin in the top, and so I'll either use the Dynamite or the Mercury. And plus I have CA debonder. This is the Great Plains CA debonder, or I'll use the Mercury debonder. So good to have that handy when you're handling CA. The other tools I've got is a heat gun. This is the deluxe heat gun, the Hanger 9 deluxe heat gun. Very powerful. It's got a low and a high setting. Not all of them have low and high settings, so I like that. I've got the Hanger 9 iron, covering iron with a cloth sock on it. And I like it because it has this temperature gauge here that I can set it the temperature exactly what the covering needs, and it works very well. Plus I have a trim tool iron. When you get around to making sure that the covering where it's folded over or whatever, this little trim tool is very handy to make sure that covering is well bonded and on. So let me get these tools out of the way and then I'll show you how we inspect the covering. Be right back. Okay, we're going to start with the wing. I'm going to use a pair of scissors and cut this covering off carefully. This is pretty well sealed, so the moisture content inside this plastic covering over the wings is going to be different than the moisture content where I live and where you live. So you just have to make sure that the wing sits a while and they're wrapped individually. Let me cut this other one off now. And I'm going to let these, after I inspect them, I'm going to let them sit for 24 hours, see if the covering looks any different after that. Okay, so on the wing, they have already mounted, very loosely mounted, these additional, I forget what they call them off the top of my head. They're a forward edge slat is what I'd call them. That's what I would call the things. But they're there to provide extra lift for novice flyers. Basically, you can see it's a piece of plastic with a couple of pieces of balsa in there, and they just sit right on the covering. If you want to use these, I'm okay with it. I choose not to use them because I've tried them, I've tested them, and I don't find them that they're that effective. They do slow the airplane down, which is good, but you also have the speed brakes to slow it down. It prevents stalling on the wing tips, but you ought to learn to control the speed of the airplane so it doesn't stall. If you're going to mount these, one, you got to make sure, I can see that this is not glued down well. The covering on it is not glued down well. But if you are going to mount these, it's okay. They just go on like that, and you use some clear packing tape and tape that on the top and the bottom so it won't come off. So I'm going to choose not to use them. I'm going to put that aside. And now I'm going to inspect it for several things. One, quite a few very tiny wrinkles across here. I'll iron a lot of that out, and with the iron, again, very fine wrinkles here, not surprising. There's a little covering for the rod that moves the ailerons back and forth. Remember, this rod we won't use because we're going to use two ailerons servos, and the wing servo mount is here in the center, and I'll show you that later. So the covering is good. I'll say it's not as good as the first airplane I bought. Boy, the first airplane was done very well, and so every wing is going to be different. It just depends upon the humidity factors of where it was made. It looks like it's stuck down well, but you got a few wrinkles. And the other thing I want to inspect is I'm going to take this off. Okay, so there's the rod that moves the ailerons. Okay, remember my aileron servo horn is going to be out here somewhere, and so this will be free. When I do that, I'm going to make sure that the aileron has full movement. If I have to adjust the movement of this arm, then I will do so, but I don't think I'll need to. I didn't have to on the last one. Although on the last one I used flaps, so it had complete movement. So that looks like it's good. Now that that's off, be very careful not to poke a hole in the other wing or something. Okay. In fact, I'll go ahead and put that back on just for safety's sake right now. So other than some minor wrinkles, let's see how the aileron is glued on. Looks like they're using a bit more glue than they did last time. I'll probably put a couple of touches of CA on the CA hinges. You got to hold it up. Oops! You got to hold it up to the light and look through and see where the CA hinges are. There's I think 3 CA hinges back here so that you can have the flap cut out, and then there's I think 3 more CA hinges out here for the aileron. There was a mistake in the manual. Let me see if they corrected that mistake. The mistake was the picture for where to cut the aileron was wrong, but the instructions were correct. No, they're still wrong. Okay. This picture that shows you right here says 6 inches, 254 millimeters. Okay. 254 millimeters is 10 inches, not 6, so that picture is wrong, and down here it does say 10 inches. So don't believe the picture, believe the words. It does say 10 inches, 254 millimeters, and 254 millimeters does not equal 6. Okay, so small mistake in the manual. The wing looks nice and straight. The aileron, I always like to look at the aileron end to end down to here, and it looks very good and straight. So the wood is good. The edges, the wraparounds all look good. So that's pretty good. I'll inspect the other wing and then do the same inspection for the horizontal and vertical stabilizers.